Now, Sports Talk with Brodes. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes. We are broadcasting live, as always, from the beautiful Manscaped Man Cave. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD at manscaped.com. A few people have reached out to me asking a couple different questions, but it all is in regards to the same topic. Are you upset that Howie Roseman did not make a move at the deadline? Do you think they should have sold? Do you think they should have bought? And realistically, I feel they did the right thing. There was no reason to give up assets to get a tiny bit of help. They weren't going out and trading for Aaron Donald, Julio Jones, any of these big-time names that would make that much of a difference when it comes to this franchise. It would have been something tiny. So if I look at this team and the end goal for this squad, realistically, I'm just being 100% honest, the best case scenario for this team would be win the division, host a playoff game, and win that. They would lose in the second round easily, without a doubt. But the best possible scenario would be win that home playoff game. There is nobody reasonable in this conversation that they would have acquired that would have been the difference in them losing in the second round or winning in the second round. So with that mindset, I don't feel that it's reasonable to give up a ton of pieces for some help, for a tiny bit of help when this team is so flawed. They don't have an identity. Their quarterback play is abysmal. Their head coach is a joke right now, and they're not a piece away from making any legit push. So it would be a waste, in my opinion, of some sort of asset to this franchise. Should they have sold? I think they tried to. I know they tried to. I asked Adam Kaplan of Inside the Birds podcast on 97.3 ESPN Football at 4. He's on every Thursday. I said, Adam, would they have traded Zach Ertz if he was not on the IR with that minor injury? And he said, yeah, probably. Probably. So they would have traded Zach Ertz. It sucks. It absolutely blows that he got injured and that forced the Eagles to hold on to him when he did have some value based off of, hey, look, any team that tries to make a move for Zach Ertz would get him for this year, would have him for next year, although you know he would fight the contract situation. He would like to have more money and he would try and get towards that George Kittle, Travis Kelce type salary, whatever. But he has value this season for the backstretch for a team who does think Zach Ertz would be the difference in winning a round and winning the next round. Teams that are ready to make that Super Bowl push for the legit seriousness of it, not a fake Fugazi playoff team like the Eagles would be, but a team like Green Bay who lacks some weapons. Would that be a good spot for Zach Ertz? I would say yes. Yes, it would be. So I thought they tried to sell. Same with Alshon Jeffrey, but people don't want Alshon Jeffrey when you look at that contract, when you look at the injury, and realistically, there's probably something to be said about things and how they have been handled from a personality standpoint. Although people put up with a lot in the NFL if you are a fantastic athlete and a hell of a player. Look at what's going on with Tampa Bay and Antonio Brown at the moment. What Alshon Jeffrey has done from a locker room standpoint compared to what has been in this league, it's not that serious of a deal. But who knows? Maybe that does rub a franchise the wrong way. Maybe there's ex-teammates, former teammates of Alshon Jeffrey around the league going, you know what? Nah, let's not go down that road, coach. Let's not go down that road. He's not somebody who would fit here. I don't know. But when you look at selling, I thought that they did make an attempt to. Nobody wants Alshon Jeffrey, and with Zach Ertz, they could not move him, and he realistically would have been moved if the minor injury and the IR placement was not in effect. So it sucks, absolutely. But I feel that the Eagles did the right thing. Just stay put. You know, it's essentially punting on the season, knowing you're in a good spot to win the division just by winning your own division games. But is it fair for me to say they're in a good spot? This is the Eagles we're talking about. A team that is not good. A team that does not have a lot of consistency. A team that is playing poorly at the quarterback position, and the head coach is a mess, a dumpster fire. There's got to be some sort of disconnect throughout the front office members because there's this general vibe that's telling me heads are butting right? They got heads butting, bang, bang, going at one another somewhere throughout. Because I just saw the same thing go down with the Philadelphia 76ers, and you could tell. There was a gut feel. There was this energy coming off of the 76ers, like, hold on a second, there needs to be an adjustment. Well, I hate to break it to you, but I do have that same energy coming out of the Philadelphia Eagles. And it could be as simple as the head coach, the GM, the owner is frustrated with the quarterback, and it's a simple fix. It's the quarterback even plays better, or the quarterback has to go. But maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's the head coach. You know, there was that debacle with Mike Groh. Doug Peterson wanted to keep him. Then ownership stepped in and go, no. Here's a ton of new coaches. We're going to bring a ton of voices in the mix. Does Doug Peterson even have power to bring in his own coaching staff, his own members of the coaching staff? It seems no. So all around, I smell something fishy happening, and that concerns me. But in terms of, hey, let's make some moves at the deadline, they're essentially punting, going no, because we have a max out level, and that max out level, with or without a move, is going to be the same. So at the end of the day, I think it's a smart move to sit back, relax, let it play out from a front office standpoint. I do think from a fan standpoint, though, we need to readdress how we feel about this team. I'm at the point now where I do not care how it looks. I know this team is abysmal. I know the quarterback is not playing his best football. I'm extremely frustrated with him. I don't think this is who he is forever because he's been in the league for 4.5 years and it's never been this bad. So there is a reason why it has become like this. And I'm concerned with some of the statements that he made, specifically saying, this is who I am. I'm not going to stop being me. I'm going to throw the football and give my players an opportunity to go make a play. Well, Carson, you know what? At some point, you do need to focus on fixing that. You can't just continue to play this way or you're going to be out of this damn city. So there are concerns with Carson. I'm in a weird spot with him mentally because I don't think this is who he is, and I'm basing this off of 4.5 years of play and this being such an extreme low. 2017 was such an extreme high for him. This is the total opposite. Where is he when you look at the middle? Is he just your average quarterback, but he's so inconsistent, he's going to play phenomenal, and then he's going to play piss poor, and that's going to even out to him being average? Like, there's a difference between what I just laid out for you and then an average quarterback every single night, consistently average, like a Ryan Tannehill, let's say. That's your average, standard, consistent, that's who he is type quarterback. You can be better with that because you know what you're getting week in and week out. Here with Carson, the way it's been so far, you have no clue. And that's the problem. But I feel we need to sit back and say, knowing the circumstances, knowing the injuries, knowing the offensive line has been different every single week, knowing that there's really no outside corner opposite of Darius Slay, knowing that Miles Sanders is out all the time, knowing that Zach Ertz isn't going to be here, Dallas Goedert's coming off the injury, like there's so much to factor in, knowing that they're not that great of a football team. Who cares how ugly it looks? Who cares about the optics? Who cares if they win by 1, if they win by 2? Who cares? Honestly, who cares? They are that bad where I think you just got to realize, hey, let's take the wins. You know, let's stop nitpicking. You start nitpicking this team, what for? Why should we? You know, we're not dumb. We understand the game. We know the X's and O's. We've watched this organization for years. There's something missing with this team. This team doesn't have the it factor. They are what they are. They're a bad football team who's going to win their division because their division is pathetic and the worst in the history of football. There's not 6-win division leaders. It's not a thing. And you know what? Maybe somehow, some way they get to 7. Okay, whoop-de-doo. The squad is embarrassing. So who are we to hold them to a high standard? Yes, this is me admitting that we should lower our standards so much that even if it's against Dallas, even if it's against other teams, from this point moving forward, I know how I felt in the past this season, but from this point moving forward, I think you got to flip. I think you got to go with a new philosophy. Understanding where the identity of this team is. Take it for what it is. If they get a win, you should be so damn happy. It shouldn't matter how they do it. Because you can see the difference between them and the Buccaneers, the Green Bay Packers, the Saints. I'm not even going to mention the Steelers and the Chiefs. Like, no shit. Okay? No shit. So it is what it is. I forget what watching football, good football, feels like when you care, though. I see good football throughout the league, but Sundays, it's more miserable than it is exciting. Eagles football, there's times where it is the best thing in the world. Nothing beats it. But when it's ugly, it's painful. It's like I want to stab my damn eyes out with the pen that I'm writing notes with. And when it gets to this point, it sucks. It really is. It's so frustrating. It's annoying. But at some point, you gotta know. You gotta embrace it. You don't want to embrace it. Nobody wants this to happen. But the more and more you deny it, the more and more you expect more, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're allowing yourself to get all rowdy and get all fired up for no reason. Because there should be an understanding involved. Your inner voice should tell you, there's no reason. Take some deep breaths. Relax. It's almost like the devil and the angel. The devil's telling you, you better believe that this team can do it, and you better get pissed off, while your angel's saying, deep breaths. It'll be okay. This is not your year. Just embrace it and reset, regroup for next season. And you're trying to fight your feelings because we all want them to be good. They're not, though. And unfortunately, it starts with the quarterback, who is bothering me so much. And I'm torn and I'm conflicted on how to feel about number 11. And I always say this, though, when I talk about emotions and how you should feel and what the general public feels and how the fan base feels, being conflicted about 11 is the right way to feel. If he's playing good football and there's idiots and morons out there saying, this guy sucks, this guy's pathetic, he knows nothing, he can't play, he's so overhyped, well, you're just saying that to say that. Now, though, it's legitimate. And he's never played like this before. While he had some accuracy issues and he missed some throws before in the past, fine. There's never been a stretch in his career where it's been to this degree. So now that it's here, I think it's the right way to feel when it's conflicted. When you feel conflicted about 11 and you say that openly, that is the proper way to assess this current situation. All right, so what I want to do now is I want to react to some of the Anytime Hotline calls from the night of the Cowboys-Eagles game. Now that it's later in the week, there's so much time that has happened. People feel very emotional the night of and the next day. That's why we call it Overreaction Monday. And as the days go on, people have a different vibe surrounding the game and what happened. So I think it's funny to go back from earlier in the week, go back to those instant reactions and see and react to how the people felt in those moments. But before we do that, I need to let you know about my friends at DraftKings. DraftKings has brought their expertise to legal sports betting. It's a legitimate sportsbook based right here in the United States, so you can rest assured that your funds are totally secure. DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is safe, secure, and reliable. Deposit and withdraw at your convenience. Listen to this deal. It's insane. All new users have a chance to earn a sign-up bonus up to $1,000. Head to the app now and sign up using promo code BRODES, BRODES. Check out all that they have to offer, including player props, live betting, and so much more. If sportsbooks are not yet available in your state, don't forget about the DraftKings Fantasy app, which offers millions of dollars in total prizes every single week. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, let's start it off. I can't wait. I'm excited.
Living near Tampa as I do, I got to see a lot of Jameis Winston over the years. And Carson Wentz is reminding me more and more of Jameis Winston every day. The inability to handle the football other than like a hand grenade. The decision making. The inability to throw the football away when the rush is coming. You cannot have 3 to 4 turnovers a game, every game, coming from one position on the football field. His skill set is regressing rather than progressing.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. It's very hard to argue anything that you just said. Jameis Winston threw 30 interceptions. I don't know if Carson's to that degree. Right now, he's on pace to throw an obnoxious amount. But once again, I go back to a 4.5-year sample size is a lot. It's not 8 games. It's not 10 games. It is a significant amount of football. And throughout his career, he has not had an interception problem. Right now he is, and I think he's in this weird mental state where he's pressing a lot. He thinks he could do more than what he really can. He always tries to extend the play too much. At some point, he needs to realize that, hey, we got to fight for another time. We need to fight for new life. There's no reason to try and take a shot there. There's no reason to try and roll out and get hit and get rocked. The interceptions, though, that's an outlier in his career. It's hard for me to imagine that Carson Wentz is going to keep up this amount of interceptions for his career. That's just obnoxious. Jameis Winston giving you 30 interceptions, a ton of interceptions year in and year out. That's who he was. That's who he is. The fumbling, now that is a different type of conversation. That's a different topic. The fumbling for Carson Wentz, that has always been a problem. I don't expect that or anticipate that to go away because let's look at the window. Let's look at his career. That has been who he has been. Interceptions, you're talking about 7 a season. This is uncanny, and that's why I go back to, is this him? I'm not convinced it is, but I don't know the fix. I don't know how you get back to the Carson Wentz that we need. It doesn't even need to be the 2017 Carson. Everyone who holds him to that standard, that's not who he really is full-time. And he doesn't need to be. He's not in the Aaron Rodgers category. He's not in the top dog category. There's plenty of guys throughout this league that had MVP-type seasons that's not in Aaron Rodgers. Matt Ryan's one of them. Cam Newton's one of them. All right, there are guys who have had great years, but that's not truly who they are. And that's fine. That's fine. Matt Ryan got to a Super Bowl. They had an epic failure, but I don't put that just on Matt Ryan. That's an epic collapse from an organizational standpoint. Cam Newton got to the Super Bowl loss. Like, you can get to the Super Bowl with these players, and I feel Carson Wentz falls in that category. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're in a bad spot as a franchise. We just got to get him out of this. You're right. Right now, he is playing like Jameis Winston. I don't think that's him forever, and we got to get him out of there, out of that spot. What is the fix, though? Is it getting healthier? Is it Doug Peterson helping him out? Is it Press Taylor helping him out? Are they hard on him? Clearly they're not. But at the same time, come on, Carson. Does anyone really need to tell you that you can't be making some of the throws that you're making?
We were kind of humiliated in front of the whole country last night. It was an embarrassment, really. Wentz, it's just not his fumbles, and it's not his interceptions. He throws one good pass, then he'll throw 3 passes over the head of the receivers. And I've been a big, big fan of his, and I'm praying that he can work these issues out. And Doug Peterson, I can't even talk about that joke. He needs to be fired. We're not going to win this division. The rest of our schedule is brutal. So our chances of winning this division are extremely slim, especially the way the team's playing now.
It's not as slim as you think, just because if you win your division games, you're going to be in a good spot to win the division. So it's not as slim as you think. And then when you look at that brutal stretch of, Cleveland, Arizona's in there, and there's some other good teams as well, the Saints, all they need to do is win one and win the division games, and they should be all right. But Doug Peterson, get him out of here, fire him, right? I love that reaction. I'm not there yet. I'm just as frustrated as anybody else with Doug Peterson, and I've been on Doug Peterson way longer than everyone else. I actually remember last summer I put up a clip of me talking about Doug Peterson and his leash. And I asked the question, how long is his leash? How long is it? And Eagles Twitter got on me. I got ripped apart. And now those same individuals are questioning how long Doug Peterson's leash is. Yeah? Screw you. That's all I have to say to everyone who tweeted that and called me an asshole. Screw you. But getting back to my point, it's not time to move on from Doug Peterson yet. I wonder what it would be like if he had better help, an actual offensive coordinator, maybe someone else calling the plays. Doug Peterson has value. There is a way to implement him. He has a tough time thinking on his toes, though, and that puts you in a tough spot when you're calling plays. You need help, and Doug Peterson needs help, but he does have a skill set that's unique when it comes to keeping everybody on the same page when things go south. And guess what? Things have been going south year in and year out. Now, you can say, dude, if it's going south every time, you can't just get all the praise for digging yourself out of it because you're putting yourself in that spot consistently. Fair point. Can't argue that. I lean on that side more than I do praising his skill set. But I'm not ready to give up on Doug Peterson. He did win a Super Bowl, and there is value in that. No matter what other pieces were there at the time, Doug Peterson was the head coach, and that does deserve some recognition. Now, I'm not saying the leash is long for me, because it's not. But I'm not ready yet. Carson, I would like to think that he's going to snap out of this, but I like the fact that you brought up him missing throws a little high. I got into a huge debate with Mike Gill on 97.3 about this. That third down play where Greg Ward went up to catch the ball and it went right through his hands, right through his hands. Gill was so pissed off with Carson Wentz because he says there's always this moment where he misses a guy and it's a little high and both hands were on it, so Greg Ward had to make the play, but if Carson could just be perfect in that scenario. See, the problem that I have with that is you can rip Carson for every play throughout that Cowboys game where he made a big mistake, because there were plenty of them. When it was third down and Greg Ward got both hands on the ball, that's fully a Greg Ward issue to me. Everyone wants Carson Wentz to hit every single play perfectly in the chest. Watch all of the bests. Watch Drew Brees, watch Russell Wilson, watch Aaron Rodgers, watch all of these quarterbacks. They make plays and they make throws where you want to faint because they're so special. But they also make throws where, guess what? It's 5 inches high, but their receiver just gets it and it's so natural that you don't even second guess what type of throw that was from Aaron Rodgers. But with the Wentz binoculars, if it's 2 inches high and the wide receiver gets both hands on it, it's still Carson Wentz's fault. That is too extreme to me. That's where I have a problem with the Carson Wentz haters and the ones that want to rip him to this insane degree. I will preach ripping him into pieces, shredding him when it comes to the play to Rager in the end zone where he was double covered, high tower play, rolling to the left, you name it. The play where he got hit by Van Der Esch and he didn't get the ball over the middle. Sure, no doubt. But the Greg Ward play, sorry, your receiver has to make a play. This is the NFL. You're talking 2 inches too high, 3 inches too high. Make the play. It's not always on the quarterback. It's the easy blame, but it's not reality. Quarterbacks are not perfect 100% on target all the time. And that play, it was clearly in a good position for Greg Ward. He just missed it, and it's unfortunate, but that's not Wentz's fault.
Number one in the NFC least. Let's go. I got to take my halftime. This is all Jim Schwartz, man. I mean, he makes this, and you look at the scoreboard, it's a game that looks like you can swallow it, but it really is not. But, good job, Jim Schwartz. Good job, defense. Jalen Rager, he looked good. Really, Travis Fulgham, we got to keep them both forever. They look great. They're really young, good pieces. Don't got to pay them, and they're going to give us a lot. So I'm excited about that. Carson Wentz is trash. The next time that he has 3 turnovers in a game, I want him benched for Jalen Hurts. Period. Go Birds, man.
There was a moment in that game where I thought, this might be time. This might be time. I didn't think it was a reality. I didn't think the franchise would really do it. But in terms of, someone watching the game and seeing it happen, I thought, all right, hold on a second. We might have to do something. Jalen Hurts is not the guy to come in and just save this team. Would I be opposed to making some sort of statement by allowing him to go out there for a drive? I would not be against that. It's not bench Carson Wentz forever and he's no longer your quarterback and you're saying, see you later, dude, you blow. It wouldn't be to that extreme. As irritating as it is, it's not going to be to that level. There's a reason why he's getting paid that much money. There's a reason why he got that contract at one point. Let's be realistic. That would never happen. You might want it to, but it'll never happen. You do need to hold him accountable, though. So whether it's a series, whether it's just implementing Jalen Hurts more so Carson Wentz can feel the pain and feel the fire behind him a bit, light a fire underneath of his ass, yeah, I think that's reasonable. Maybe let Jalen Hurts play a series, but it would never be a full-time benching of Carson Wentz. That is to an extreme. The defense, I give them credit, but it's hard because you had DiNucci playing. What is this Cowboys team? They're nothing. So the defense played well. They better have. They better have. Because if not, now we're in some serious trouble. Even more trouble than we already are in.
What a complete show. Travis Fulgham showed up and did his thing like we all expected. Boston Scott did his thing. You got to give him props for stepping up. But Carson Wentz, I never thought I'd be saying this, bro, because I'm a huge Wentz fan. But I am literally starting to lose hope in him, bro. He can't keep doing these things, man. Like, 4 turnovers, that's unheard of, bro. You can't do that as a franchise quarterback in your 5th year in the NFL, especially when you're supposed to be the level of caliber that Carson Wentz is. I'm just disgusted. I don't remember the last time I was ever more disgusted with a win.
I feel you on that. Without a doubt, I feel you on that, especially the Carson thing, because there's a lot of us, and you can even hear the people calling in. Thank you so much, by the way, for calling in. This is one of my favorite things to do on this channel and with this podcast is react to your phone calls, so I appreciate it. But everyone calling in, it's like, I'm a Carson Wentz guy, but I'm a Carson Wentz supporter, but I'm a huge Carson Wentz stan, but. And it has started to change a bit. Now, us Carson Wentz believers are starting to really wonder what's going on here. And once again, that is the right way to feel. Before this season, I don't think it was the right way to feel based off of what you saw on the field. This is the first time we're seeing it to this level, and it is concerning because you would think as the years go on, look, I say this all the time about Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is 24, and I anticipate him to grow and blossom into a player. If by year 6, year 7 of Ben Simmons, I'm just throwing a hypothetical out there, he starts to go downwards and he's playing worse, yeah, I'm going to be worried because I expect him to get better and grow. I'm expecting him to, you know what, he might have some pain in the playoffs, and he might go up against a defense that gives him trouble, but then he bounces back the next game against that team. Let's say a playoff series. Game 1, they gave him trouble. Game 2, he finds a way to counter that, right? It's a growing process. Well, with Carson, yeah, you know what? There's a growing process involved, but now instead of growing, there's something happening in the other way. But I think it's fair to look at all the layers, peel all the layers off. And I think coaching is a very interesting point of view with this. But that's why I'm so torn, because as much as I feel people need to hold him more accountable and teach him more things in the film room, it's hard for me to imagine they're not, right? It's like the people screaming that Brett Brown didn't tell Ben Simmons to shoot. Stop it. The whole organization has been begging him to shoot. They were so desperate, he went out to the media and said, this guy needs to shoot every single game, and he didn't. They were desperate as hell. It's hard for me to imagine they're not telling him these issues. They're not that dumb. They can't be, right? Maybe they are, but I'm sorry. I'm not convinced that they are that dumb. As much as I am questioning Doug Peterson and Press Taylor. Oh, man.
Well, a win is certainly a win, but that one was ugly. Carson Wentz played awful today, and I'm someone who will tend to defend Wentz, but his play today was inexcusable. 4 turnovers, bro, I'm shocked he wasn't benched for Jalen Hurts after that one interception. And I also have a giant problem with Doug Peterson's play calling. He throws the ball too much, in my opinion. you're facing the worst rush defense in the entire league. Boston Scott had a pretty decent game, in my opinion. He was getting yardage, and he was breaking tackles. He's no Miles Sanders, but he was doing a pretty decent job.
He was. And it's ironic you bring that up because this was one of the games where the passing and running ratio was pretty solid for Doug Peterson. But you are right that they threw too much based off of this is a team that can't stop the run. They don't know how to stop the run. So why are you throwing the football so many damn times when you don't need to? You're making it harder than you have to, right? So all around, normally Doug Peterson gets away from the run. In that game, it was pretty split. But there was no reason for so many passes. It should have been so heavy in the running game because Boston Scott was getting some chunk plays. He was running the football well. You're forcing the team to throw more than it really needed to. And it's funny, I asked Jeff Mosher of Inside the Birds this question on Football at 4 as well. You know, with Carson Wentz, when he was throwing at the high tower, when he was throwing it to Jalen Reagor in double coverage, and both of them got picked off, with the wind blowing the way that it was that a Doug Peterson philosophy? Hey, let's bomb the football? Or was that Carson Wentz? Like, whose fault is that? There's no reason to even be in that scenario where you're trying to go that deep when the conditions were what they were and when you're playing this football team. And it's a very reasonable response that I got. Every play has options. Every play has multiple different layers to it. You have your short, you have, your layers to it. Guys go deep, so that opens up the middle of the field. Carson Wentz is making those decisions. If you have 3 options and you go through your progressions, Carson Wentz is choosing the bomb. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what Doug Peterson wants to do. Very realistic. But at the same time, we know how Doug Peterson is. We know his aggressiveness. There's a little bit inside of me that goes, I wouldn't be surprised if Doug Peterson said, hey, let's take some shots out there as well. That's the style of Doug Peterson. That's who he is. That's his identity. So I wouldn't be surprised at the same time. All right, we got a couple more.
After each win that we keep getting, I'm just more disappointed in this team. The play calling was trash, and Carson Wentz is at the point where he's just doing unforgivable shit. Honestly, you have the weapons now. Some of the weapons are coming back, and you're still making these dumb throws. I just don't get it. And that game really just proved to me how much we're not contenders for pretty much anything.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I mean, you should have known that, with all due respect, that is. You should have known that before that game was even played, that there was a monstrous issue with this football team. You mentioned Doug's play calling. That could have been Doug's worst game in his career calling plays. I had no clue what the structure was. None whatsoever. It wasn't even close to being recognizable. Seriously, I had no clue what he was trying to do when it came to moving the football. There were games throughout where we praised his scripted plays, look at the movement, look at what he's doing, and then things go silent. Here, I didn't even see anything. Honestly, I didn't even see anything. There were a couple things here and there, but not enough for me to even say that there was something that really stood out to me with Doug Peterson. And it's frustrating.
What's up with the play calling of Doug Peterson? That 4th and 3, the second time that Carson Wentz got hit and he fumbled, just punt the ball. That's all you have to do. It just seems like it's something missing, especially in that lull after the script plays, but before Wentz turns it on and shows off his magic. I just don't understand. And Jalen Hurts, why can't we come up with a more productive package for him? Taking Carson Wentz off the field and let Jalen Hurts have reign on offense. Let him spread it around, run, or do anything. Just let him be a playmaker that he is and he was in college.
The Jalen Hurts package is embarrassing. It really is. It's pathetic that this is the best they can do with an athlete like Jalen Hurts. I watched Taysom Hill run all these plays, taking the Wildcat, running the ball. Now, Taysom Hill's a little bit thicker. He has more meat to the bone. He's more of a lower the shoulder, let me give you a little bit of contact kind of guy compared to Jalen Hurts. But still, this is what you dialed up. This is what you valued in the second round, this trash. I mean, it really is embarrassing. When you look at how we felt as a city afterwards, we were very annoyed that this is the outcome of the draft in that round. But if you envision this, we have a bigger issue. If this is what they thought they would get in return, ew. Now, with Doug Peterson, that fourth down play, he's going for it. Ballsy Doug Peterson. You're right. You're going up against a guy that doesn't even deserve to smell the NFL locker room in Ben DiNucci. Punt the ball. There's no reason to give them field position. There's no reason to give them even the slightest bit of optimism that they're going to be able to score some points. Punt them, punt it, pin them down towards their end zone, and force Ben DiNucci to go 100 yards. Force him to go 90 yards. He's not going to do it. It's that simple. It's not that hard to figure out. But Doug, trying to outsmart himself, trying to get all pretty, trying to get all cute, you're going to put yourself in a predicament. And luckily, because the Cowboys are that bad, the Eagles found a way to get the job done. The referees didn't even want to play. They didn't want to at all. That Rodney McLeod touchdown, seriously, that was a joke. All right, so there we have it. It's the bye week. The Sixers news is coming around, so that's somewhat distracting us, whether it's Daryl Morey's press conference, rumors about James Harden, right? So that's distracting us a bit from the bye week of the Eagles, which is nice, but it's starting to kind of settle in that, alrighty, this is going to be miserable for the remainder of the year, so buckle up. But that's why I said, let's change the expectation. If they win, they win. Don't worry about optics. Don't worry about how it looks. Because you should already know everything you need to know about this team this year for the most part. Wentz, he's the one that you should be worried about and studying intensely and watching him heavily. But as a team this season, I'm going to try, and I'm using the words try, to handle my emotions moving forward due to the fact that my expectations level has dropped when it comes to the optics of it. Thank you all so much for listening. This episode is sponsored by Orbit Energy and Power, and with over 20 years of experience in the industry, they are home to your solar experts in residential and commercial projects. They are dedicated to making sure your project is completed easily and properly by using high-quality materials and trained professionals to get the job done right. Their solar program helps eliminate your electric bill completely. We're talking about $0 electric bills. They provide water purification systems, backup energy services, battery storage, and more. Check out their information. It's all down below. Thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you next time.